Alf, did the 2024 Prizm football card release already get ruined? And what is going on with all the fake patch cards that are floating around out there? Buyer beware. What's going on, sports card hobby family? It's another day. It's another sports card video. We are back again. Before I get started on today's topics, we've got to thank our video sponsor, Pristine Auction. All the goodness over there, weekly auctions, monthly auctions, 10-minute auctions. They even run live auctions sometimes for sports cards. You got to check these guys out. I've got $10 off your first auction victory down below in the video description. Use the promo code. Check out Pristine Auction through my link. JustCollect.com. You've got a collection to sell. You have no idea what to do with it, where to go with it. Easy appraisal form on the JustCollect.com website. They will get back to you, let you know what's going on with your collection. Card Capsule, you're looking for great supplies, card supplies, top loaders, and penny sleeves, and cases, and all the goodness, but you don't want to spend a fortune for good supplies. Go to Card Capsule. Again, I've got the promo codes down below in the video description to take money off for you for Card Capsule. All right, I first saw this reported from Jeff Wilson talking about a scummy break, I believe is what he had on the little thumbnail thingy on Instagram. And essentially, wait, do we have it, Frank? Just go ahead and play it for him. We'll just get kind of the intro to it.
I am not a fan of this at all. Prizm Football Hobby does not release for 2 more days, but for one breaker.
Christmas came early, fellas. Get everybody in here right now. Get everybody in here right now. Prizm Hobby on the table. I won't tell if you don't.
So what he's talking about here is essentially a breaker went 4 days before hobby boxes are released to the general public and went ahead and put it out there and I guess sold breaks for this. And of course, you've got all the excitement, the lead up. And so hard to argue that you wouldn't have an advantage there if you're the only game in town that's offering that product in advance. Now, the sports card hobby is unique in its own way, but I do know in other industries, typically, if you play, let's say you run a movie theater and you run your movie 4 days before it opens, that's not going to be good. That's going to be an issue. That's going to be a problem. And it's kind of like with a lot of other products and services. When there's a big release that's coming out, they've got a release date there on purpose, and you don't want to be selling it before the actual release date. Not good business practice. But hey, we are in the sports card hobby where it just feels like anything goes here. It's the Wild West, it seems like, at least for now. We'll see how that goes as we move forward. Of course, they pulled a Brock Bowers 1/1 black Prizm variation card. Very cool card. I think that Prizm football, well, first off, the cards look very good. I like the design, except for some of the inserts. I don't know what they're doing with these insert cards, whether it's the manga or whatever the hell it is. They got one with a big face and a little body. I don't know who's coming up with this stuff. I think the inserts are pretty dumb looking, but the actual cards themselves, the design, I think that they look great. And I think there's just going to be a huge chase this year, whether it's Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, of course, is going to be a big one. The Brock Bowers, the Marvin Harrison Jr.'s. There's a lot of names this year. This is actually a pretty stacked, the perception is that it's a pretty stacked draft class. Of course, we don't know how everyone's career is going to work out. Bo Nix is in here. You got a lot of QBs. You've got some good skill players. And so I do think there's going to be a lot of chase. I think the product is going to be very popular. And I think it should be. I mean, it's Prizm. Prizm has just gained so much momentum. It came out, of course, in 2012 to very limited fanfare. People didn't care about it. It's kind of like a lot of these sets. Whether it be Prizm, we talked about 86 Fleer when it came out. They were sending it back, to Fleer, like they couldn't sell the stuff. And then, of course, it gains traction over time. And look at it now. 2012 Prizm was the same. Now, of course, you want to buy a box of 2012 Prizm. It's very, very expensive. And Prizm has just become a household name. It's a mainstay. We'll have to see how that goes, of course, between Panini and Fanatics battling each other. Will Fanatics eventually go ahead and buy? Will they actually sell to Fanatics? Will they buy Panini and take over? Or will Panini just be making unlicensed products for football, basketball coming up in a couple years? I can really kind of see both of these outcomes as possible. All right, moving on to the next story. We saw Tiffany Cards shared this along with 35 Auburn on Twitter. And these guys do a great job. They're sharing work that's been done by the Blowout Detectives, finding patch cards that are not right, that where the patch has been swapped out. And here, Tiffany Cards, I believe it's Tiffany Cards, talks about that the listing of the altered cards, it's either being done as a lot on eBay or it's just below the $250 authenticity guarantee level, which looks a little shady if you're a seller on eBay and you've got these types of cards. The common denominator that I've noticed with this is a lot of napkin patches that were in these patch cards that have been switched out for sick patches. This makes me think, it's like if a patch looks to be too good to be true, then it might be. You know, if it's got just a wicked patch on it, it very well might be a Dick's Sporting Goods jersey that was taken and cut up and maneuvered into that card. I don't know how this works, but I have seen videos in the past of people popping out patches and showing kind of how easy that is. And again, man, by God, you know, it's like all of the stupid pitfalls that people have to deal with. It's like, man, you really have to pick, I guess, what risk are you willing to take? Whether it's the gambling products, whether it's potential of trimming, whether it's potential of card cleaning, whether it's the potential of a loaded box, whether it's potential of a CT scan, whether it's, I mean, it's like the list of BS keeps getting longer and longer, it feels like, which is why a lot of my hobby has been focused into consolidating as opposed to maybe buying volume of stuff. I'm just being picky with what I'm buying in the collectible space and looking at other areas of the collectible space as well. I don't just collect sports cards. I collect graded comic books, graded action figures. I've got graded video games. I've got graded starting lineups. I've got all the 80s, 90s nostalgia stuff that I enjoy. But man, the trading card hobby, I think all the huge money that has moved into the trading card hobby over the last 5 years, yeah, there's some great parts of that and there's some really fun, you know, ideas around it, and you've got new companies coming in and innovating, and there's all those positive things. But my God, man, it's also brought in all the jackasses that want to rip us off. They're all here, and there's more that seem to be coming in all the time. So I don't know what to say. So guys, beware out there. Stick with companies that you do trust. Stick with card dealers that you trust. You know, really take your time in this industry. Take your time, no rush, you know, spending big money in this space. I mean, really kind of, you know, dig in here and just pick your spots. I think that's a big thing. And whether that is breaks or whether that's opening boxes or whether that's buying singles, whatever you choose to do, just, you know, take your time, research it, be happy with what you've chosen. Because, man, hobby is fantastically great. There is a lot of BS out there as well. Friends, stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.